Hi there, Bright Plant Girl here. Today I'm going to be planting up this beautiful hydrangea behind me. I have its partner planted in beside me there, and some of you might recognize the obelisk or trellis there in between them. I've moved it, as well as the annuals. It just didn't seem like it was having the effect that I wanted in the other space, so I just moved it over into the center where it can grab your attention more. But today we're going to be planting this hydrangea. This is a Lavalamp Candelabra hydrangea. So it's hardy to zone 3. It's beautiful pink blooms, and it matures to 4 to 6 feet tall and wide. Now, when you're planting on the prairies, like my area is a zone 3, you can't just go and grab any hydrangea off the store shelf. There are a lot of hydrangeas out there for sale that are florist hydrangea, or they just aren't hardy in our area. Generally, if it's going to have blue blooms, you probably can't grow it for more than one season in a zone 3. You really have to read the tags, be aware of what you're buying, and research your hydrangea before you purchase it and put it in the ground. You can buy the other hydrangeas. They just aren't likely to survive unless you take them in and overwinter them in a frost-free environment. But there are a lot of beautiful hydrangeas out there that you can buy, throw in a pot or in the ground, and use for a gorgeous display throughout the season. But these ones that I'm planting today are hardy in my area, and I plan to have them come back for years to come. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you how I get them planted in the ground. So anytime you're planting a shrub, you want to make sure you get a hole that's at least twice as wide as the pot it's in currently. Now, in clay soil like this, that's going to be a job. So I'm going to get this dug out, and then I'll show you what I do afterwards. Okay, so I've got a nice wide hole here, but as you can see, we have a lot of clay in our soil, so I don't want to just set the hydrangea on top of the clay, so I'm just digging down to make sure that it's not going to be hitting and just sitting right on a pile of clay. This actually looks pretty good here. It's got a good mix. I've been working in this bed for enough years now that this spot, although it has a high clay content, it does pretty much fall apart when I can squeeze it into a ball and then it falls apart. So this is actually very nice loamy soil here in this spot. Some of the other areas you can't even scrape it. Like if you look at my tools, a lot of them are coated in clay from some of the digging I've been doing, so I need to clean them off. But right here isn't too bad. So I'm just going to add a little bit of fresh soil just to give it a little extra nutrients, but for the most part this is pretty nice soil. And I'm going to mix this in the native soil because you don't want it to have two different textures completely, or the roots will just stay in that one spot where they're the happiest. So let's check the height. I need to go a little bit more now that I added that in. Okay. So that'll probably be pretty good. So I'm going to tip my pot. Give it a couple good thunks. And it'll pull right out. Now this is a pretty sturdy stem. If it was a thinner stem, I'd have to be more careful trying to just get it tipped out, but I could give it a little bit of a tug there without hurting anything. Now this is just a mulch they use at the grower on top here just to keep the plants from drying out too quick. I'm just going to look at the base here and break up the roots a little bit because I want them to move out away from this soil and into my soil. So I want to give it a little break up without actually destroying the roots, but I'm trying to actually shake some of this soil out. I just find the growers have this fine, peaty wood chip kind of blend, and sometimes with our heavier soil, if I don't really work the roots, then the plants don't want to leave this grower soil. So I'm going to mix in what I just broke out of there in with my soil. Just mix it up. The native soil there and there. So I want to make sure that where it was growing in the pot is the same level as where it's going to be in the ground here. That looks like about right. Now I just want to look and see. I think I want it this way because as it grows, it's kind of curved that way right now. It was growing towards the sun that way. So if I put it this way, it'll grow out towards the grass area and the rest of the flower bed and be more rounded. So now I'm just going to hold it in place. I have the stems fairly upright. And I'm just going to backfill with soil. There, now I have it about half full. I'm going to find my watering can. I'm going to water it in. With shrubs, it's good to give them a water once it's about half full and really let that soil settle in there. So there, I've given the soil a minute to settle in. I'm going to give it a little extra pat down here. Make sure that the roots don't have any air pockets. And then I'll just fill in the rest of the way. Give it a good push. I don't want to compact the root zone, but I want to make sure that there's no air pockets and that the plant is firmly in place. So again, I've only backfilled it to where it was growing in the pot. Don't have it any deeper. If your ground is very, very heavy, you could raise it up just slightly and then mound the dirt away from it so that the water runs off. But in this particular spot, the soil didn't seem too bad down lower, so I think we'll just leave it at ground level. I'm going to water it in once again, just to make sure that we have it all settled in real nice. Once it starts to warm up a little bit more here and we get into our hot, dry days of summer, I will make sure that there is mulch on this plant. Well, around this plant. I won't let the mulch get any more than about an inch or two close to the stems. I'll make sure that it's about that far away from the stems, because you don't want it to get up against the stems and rot the stems away. Other than that, I'm just going to make sure that it has water if it gets really dry, especially this first year. And I'm just going to watch. Hydrangeas have a tendency to wilt on really hot days in the afternoon. You'll see them get wilty. Stick your finger or a stick or something down on the ground and see if it's actually needing water or if it's just coping with the hot weather by wilting down a little bit. Quite often you'll see them wilt down in really hot weather in the afternoon, and then by morning they're perked right up again. You don't want to overwater it and rot it out at the base of the plant. So just make sure you're checking if it actually needs water and not just watering it because it looks droopy in a hot afternoon. They can trick many gardeners that way. They look droopy and you think they're dried out, and they're not. There, so I've got my hydrangea all planted up, and I'm ready for it to get settled in and enjoy its blooms all season long. You can see it also has beautiful red twigs and those bright green leaves, so I think it's going to be a nice interest plant in my garden, no matter if its blooms are on or if they haven't started yet for the season. So if you've been afraid to try hydrangeas in your yard because you think that you can't grow them in zone 3, I say give them a try. Like I said, just read the label, check, make sure you have the right one, and you can have beautiful blooming hydrangeas in your yard for years to come. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you don't want to miss any more of my videos, then hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you can get notifications every time I put something new up. We'll see you next time. Bye.